Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about, I have my notes on my screen in the corner, why we need to follow God and explaining the effects of sin. And then I'll put in parentheses examples like trauma, divorce, heartbreak, poverty, losing your mind, possession, insecurities, etc. So the whole point of why Jesus died for us is because without him, we were just bound by sin. And, Jesus came to heal the sick. And, he came to, die for us. But while he was here, he came and he healed the sick, cast demons out of people. And when it came to people being sick, when he went up to them, he usually casted out a demon, like the boy who was throwing himself in the fire and in the water, I'm pretty sure, and they called him a lunatic. And he casted the demon out of him. And then you had the other person who was cutting himself in the tombs. And people, today and probably for a while have always had issues with wanting to off themselves. I don't want to say the word, but cutting themselves and things like that. Maybe you grew up in school with somebody who did that, or maybe you did it yourself. But I had a lot of thoughts of wanting to take myself out. But Jesus went up to him and, cast the demons out of him. And people, I won't say people, but pastors don't preach this. And I was telling some friends, I guess I'll call them friends, but they're really like family. I was telling them today about how I think it's like conspiracy with how the churches have pastors, and the pastors, I guess they usually have to go to school and all these things to become a pastor and stuff. Some don't do it, but I feel like what they're taught is not what people need to hear about real life application and what really be going on, instead of just opening the Bible to, I don't know, let me think of Daniel and the lion's den, and being Daniel had faith, so even though he was thrown in the lion's den, he believed in the Lord and he came out unscathed. And the people that accused him, they went into the lion's den. So, if you follow the example of Daniel, keep the faith, God will deliver you, and, stuff like that. And it's people out here dying, people out here losing their minds, people out here wanting to off themselves, people out here not wanting to exist anymore, people out here in bad relationships, people are out here having addictions of all type of stuff, and nobody's talking about, people out here feeling lost, don't know what their purpose is, and they're not talking about this stuff. People out here looking for love, right? But they end up, oh my bad, I thought a mosquito got me again. But they end up looking for love, right? But they look in all the wrong places, so they end up a single parent, and they don't know what went wrong, and nobody's really talking about this stuff in most churches, right? And so that's why Jesus came, because we were bound by sin, bro. Sin is the legal right for Satan and demons to sit up here and have access to you, to sit up here and tempt you, control you, live through you, and fulfill themselves. Because they, as you see in the physical world, you see me, you see my hands, but you can't sit up here and say, some people are gifted with it, but you can't sit up here and say, oh, I see this angel over here, I see this demon over here. You don't see that stuff. But in the physical world, you see me right here, you see yourself, you see this car I'm in, you see maybe you're sitting on your bed, Maybe you're at work, you see what you're looking at. You know, you see people walking by and cars driving, but you don't see these things that are in the spiritual realm. And so God's whole thing is literally to protect us. So why we need to follow him is because, well, before I get to that, why Jesus came is because we were bound by sin. Like, all those people that he delivered from ailments, and it wasn't even, all that Jesus did wasn't even able to be put in the Bible, but he healed so many people, which was delivering them from spirits. Because when you sit up here and you do what you want to do, you know, you think you're free. And I always say this, if you think you're free by doing what you want to do, because I'm not judging you, I already did all that stuff. I already was deep in the world. I already did the smoking, drinking, fornicating, listening to what I wanted to listen to, watch what I want to watch. I always grew up like, my mom raised us like vegetarian, vegan, so I didn't really eat meat like that. I eat chicken, fish, ate what I want, did what I wanted to do. And you know, you think you're free. If you think you're free, I will tell you this: try to do it on your own might. Try to stop fornicating on your own might. And yeah, I was fornicating, also addicted to, I guess I won't say the word because I don't want to get banned. Nasty movies. And yeah, like I don't want to say that word either, but like, you know what you do when you watch nasty movies, alright? So yeah, try to stop. If you addicted to any of these things, or you have any of these ailments, try to stop fornicating. See how long you can go. Try to stop doing what you do while you watch nasty movies or whatever. See how long that lasts. Try to stop smoking and drinking. See how long that lasts. Try to control yourself, and what you say to people when they might do something that they shouldn't have done, or what you say to people when you're mad. Try to control your tongue when that happens, and tell me how long that lasts for you. Try to do anything that Jesus tells us we shouldn't do, and that's of the flesh. Try to do it on your own and tell me how that works for you, because you can't do it, which is why he had to die. And his blood is the pure blood that washes us of our sins. And his blood, because life is in the blood, right? And so with sin, it's all about, Satan is like a lawyer, right? Like legalities and all these things. So with sin, something has to die, because with Jesus, you know, with God, it's life. With Satan, his is always opposite. So with sin, with God, he creates life. There's a fly in my car. But with God, how did he even get in here? Oh, he went back out. Thank you, Lord. I'll try to film a video, bro. Be for real. So with God, everything he created, it gives life, right? The trees, they give us oxygen. They give us oxygen. I was like, wait, they give us carbon monoxide, whatever it is. We give them carbon dioxide, carbon, one of them, and we get oxygen from them. The same from the ocean. God, you know, made us. We give life. A man comes into a woman, and then the woman gives birth, creating life. You know, creating life. Let me think of something else. The skies, the clouds, it rains, and that creates, you know, vegetation. Things grow. The stuff God made has seeds, so it can keep growing. Okay, so that's just examples. So all that stuff happened, right? But with Satan, it's the opposite, right? He can't create, he just perverts what God already did. So, wow, that's such a pretty bird. It went down like this and went back up, and it was like blue and like a little white on his tail. So pretty. But yeah, so what Satan does, all his stuff has death. It leads to death. Like God told us in the Bible, sin leads to death. The wages of sin is death. What you pay for sin after you do it Your payment is death. So what you're getting paid when you commit the sin is death. Like, it's cause and effect of everything. That's just how life is. Like, that's just the laws of I guess nature, and like the laws of life. Like, if you do something, you're gonna get an effect, good or bad. That's just how it is. Like, if you put a seed in the ground, you water it, give it sun and all that, it's gonna give you food. If you punch your hand at a brick wall, you're gonna bleed. That's just how it goes. Like, it's cause and effect for everything. So for Satan's thing, it's death. And with God, before Jesus came, people had to sacrifice animals when someone sinned. Like, when Adam and Eve first sinned, an animal had to be killed, because otherwise they would have had to die, because that's just the payment for sin. Some has to die. And you might be like, why some have to die? Because that's how his world works. Satan's world works by death. God's world works by life. That's why he said, you give us life more abundantly. And Holy Spirit, give me these things right now. But yeah, so with Satan, you had to kill something, right? Because life is in the blood. And so in order to pay for the sin, right, it would either be the person dying, but God said, you had to kill these animals, which is why they always had to give an offering and kill all these animals. And that was the payment. Blood is I guess you would say, like, currency. And with blood, Jesus' blood was pure, right? So it paid for all the sin. But for, like, life is in the blood. Like, I'm trying to see how, like, life is like, blood is like the power, right? Which is why, let me see. Which is why the people that do they're deemed to, like, fly on the broomsticks and all that stuff, and starts with, I think I can spell it out, WITCH. Them people with all spells and all that stuff. When Jesus said in the Bible, suffer not a WITCH to live. So what they be doing, all these people in the higher up powers and all this stuff, right? Hollywood and all that, Hollyweird, really. They sacrifice people, and you'd be like, what do you mean? And it's like, it's not like they it's not, I can't really say if they probably do, but it's not like you picture it. It's not like, say, what do you mean they sacrifice? It's like they sit up here. It's not like you're saying they sitting up here going into their house, putting somebody on a big, like, fire pit, and then there's burning them alive, and then, like, oh, there's my sacrifice. It's not like that. It's like, in order for you to get higher, you have to give something. So when you give something, it's like, okay, you gave me this, here you go, right? So it's like, I guess, kind of like exchange type of thing. So with the blood, it's power, and which is why some of them crazy people be drinking. Yeah, they be drinking it, and they be. I'm trying to sit here and say it without sitting up here being like, coming up hours later, be like, you're getting striked again. So they drink it, and they sit up here, and they get the spirits in them are getting power, right? Because they need what they're drinking, which is the stuff that flows through our veins, to give them power. And so they be drinking that stuff. And with the whole thing with how Jesus died, passed away, and then he came back to life, his blood was the ultimate, like, sacrifice, because with his blood, since it was pure and he never sinned, that paid all the debt. Because all the debt for all of us, for after Adam and Eve fell, all that debt was Satan like, oh, I have the right to sit up here and have, when everyone dies, if Jesus never came, if everyone dies, all humans who've ever lived die, they're all going to be in hell because they all sinned and they all are not righteous. They're all fallen from grace. And that's why Jesus came and gave us his, salvation and his glory, and like just his ability to be saved and be in heaven with him one day. So yeah, he died. I always keep saying he passed away, but he died, and his blood was able to cover all the sins, because the payment for Satan is like there was like Pastor Darby had one sermon. He was like, Pastor Stephen Darby, he was like, there was a hit out on me. Satan had a debt on me, on my life, and I owed him payment because I was a sinner, And the same for me. Like, I literally, if I was to die before Jesus, saved me, I would have died in my sins, because literally that's the payment. Like, you go to hell. Like, if you sit up here and do what you want to do all your life, you see it as freedom, when you die, you're going to go and be in hell because you didn't want to sit up here and follow the Lord in his way and his will, and be obedient. And you didn't want to seek after him. You wanted to do what you wanted to do. So that's why Jesus died. We needed his sacrifice because he was the ultimate sacrifice, because all the animals weren't cutting it because we kept sinning. We kept doing what we wanted to do. And I'll get into another video about Israel and who the people are actually and who the people are not, like it says in Revelation 2. But anyways, we kept sinning and we kept doing what we wanted to do, and we couldn't be holy. We couldn't, do our best to not sin because of our fallen nature, because Adam and Eve fell. And so we had to sit up here and give animal. It's like somebody sinned, all right, the priest would sit up here, and I'm pretty sure it was the priest. If I'm wrong, forgive me. But I'm pretty sure the priests were the ones that went in, and then they're the ones that killed the animals, and they were the ones that did that, so everyone's sins would be paid for right now, right? But since people kept going in sin, they just had to keep doing it over and over and over again. And God was like, and he gave them the 10 Commandments, right, as like a placeholder until Jesus came. And Jesus came, and his death was meant to pay for all the sins, and it paid for all the sins. And so with his death, now we have the ability to be free from sin, because before we were bound, and we were never going to have the ability to be free from sin. We were all going to be damned to hell. And if Jesus never came, we all would have been lost. And the crazy thing is, he literally knows everything, but he loves us so much that he literally knows everything. He didn't have to make us. He knew in his mind, all right, if I make these people in my image, they're going to fall, and then I'm going to have to send my son, which, like he said, the lamb slain before the foundation of the world. They're going to fall, and then I'm going to have to send my son. Well, God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit are all one, but they're all separate at the same time. And I'll have to sit up here. It's like Jesus and God are one. They're the same, but at the same time, they're different. And so it's like he literally is like, I'm going to have to die for them and go through all this torture and pain so that way they won't all, be lost forever. And he could have just said, you know what, I'm not going to make humans. I'm coming up with something else. But he literally did it. He's like, I'm going to still make humans. I know they're going to fall. I wanted to give them free will. I don't want them to control. He's like, I don't want to, control them. I want them to have free will so they can choose me and not, I'm not forcing them to follow me and love me and serve me. And I'm going to have to send my son because they're going to fall, which is send my son, which is basically me at the same time. And I'm going to have to suffer all these things, get tortured, die, and be betrayed, be hurt, and all these things, be left, and do all this for them. And a lot of them won't serve me or want me, but I'm gonna still do it anyway. And it's like, bro, who else finna do that? Nobody, literally. And he did all that stuff, and no, he didn't even have to do it. But yeah, so since Jesus died, now all the sin is paid for. All the debt is paid for. So now we have the ability to be free from sin. We have the ability to not be bound anymore and not be like the people before Jesus came. It was like, man, I can't, they were like, I can't stop sin. I can't stop doing this sin. Why can't I stop doing this? They probably didn't understand. But then Jesus came and everything was different. So now we all have the ability to be free from the sin. With Jesus, you're free. With Satan, you think you're free, but you're literally bound. Like with Satan, he literally gives you all these things, which is like a mirage, and he makes you think you're free, and makes you think you're finna get like, you're hoping like peace or like love and peace and love, really. That's really what we be going after. But you're not getting it. It's like fleeting. It's like a mirage. It's like you're walking up, say like this is what you think is the peace. You're like, man, it look like peace over there. And it's like cigarettes or like alcohol or, fornicating. You walk up to it, you're like, oh, it's peace. And then you get up close to it and you're like, man, this ain't peace. This is lung cancer. This is, I think you have liver problems when you drink a lot. But, addicted to drinking. STDs, sexually transmitted demons, your mind is all over the place, soul ties, babies out of wedlock, maybe you're a single parent. That's what he gives you, alright, when you think you're free, alright, that's what he gives you, that's what his payment is. And it's all just to make you miserable. It's all just to trick you. It's all just to make you more bound. It's all just to make you be a slave. Like you're a slave to sin. Like Jesus says in the Bible, you're a slave to sin. But since he died for us, we no longer have to be slaves to sin because we have the freedom to have fruits of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, self-control. If you out here suffering, like I had to deal with these things, anxiety, depression, and all that stuff is spirits. I had to deal with all these things. You out here, you don't have self-control. You don't know the scripture, which tell you cast down every thought that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. So you have all these demons putting thoughts in your mind like, oh, you need to off yourself. Oh, nobody cares about you. Oh, you're worthless. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're ugly. Oh, you think you're doing good? You're actually not. Remember you didn't do this? Remember when you messed up here? Oh, nobody cares about you and your family. They're your parents like such and such more than you. Like all these stupid things. And it's like nobody will miss you if you're not here. And all these lies he be telling you. That's what happened. Alright? When you give the spirits more reign when you keep doing what you want to do. The spirits is being fed by sin. And what Miss Tiffany Buckner, I'll be watching her, she says sin is demon food. And it literally is. It's like you out here vaping, or you out here wanting to go to the club all the time. The spirits in you, because you're doing this, is like, man, he's like, we out here in the club for the 5th time this month. I'm having a ball, versus somebody who didn't go and they were tempted, but they didn't give in. Because temptation is literally saying, like, knocking at the door. He's like, hey, you should go to the club, or like, hey, you should smoke, or hey, you should go text that guy, you should go text that girl. Hey, you missed them. Everything in the relationship wasn't all that bad. Hey, you should go take a little drink, go to the bar. You ain't gonna get too drunk, just a little sip. It's your birthday. And he just like, and then you open the door, he's like, yes, thank you so much. Now that I'm here, give him a little bit more power. And now he's like, man, I like it over here, now you're like, man, I shouldn't have did that. You feel bad, and that's what you leave you with, condemnation. Why'd you do that? Why'd you sit up here? I thought you said you wasn't gonna drink anymore. You drank so much. Man, you're a failure. You're a liar. You lied to yourself. How can you sit up here and do this to yourself? You don't keep your word with yourself. How can others trust you? Like, you're not reliable. And wow, you actually went back to that person. Look how they treated you the last time. Why would you do that? But then the same person who telling you this, he gonna be like, since he got a little bit more rain, he up here in your mind. That's where it all happens. He up here. He's like, hey, you should go text so and so again. You should go drink again. Just a little drink. It's not gonna be like last time. Just drink a little less. And each time you do this, you give your power, your authority, going more down. And his authority over you, his power and control over you is going more up here. And you're wondering, like, why can't I stop doing this? Why do I keep doing this? Why do I not want to do this? Like Paul said, I don't want to do this, but what I want to do, I don't do. And what I want to do, I don't do. And what I don't want to do is what I do. It's because he said, who will deliver me from this body of death? This body is literally not us. Like, Pastor Darby had a sermon. He was like, know that your body is not you. Your body is housing you. Your spirit and your soul is in your body. When you die, your spirit and your soul... What did I say? Your spirit and your body? I mean, your spirit and your soul is in your body. When you die, your spirit and your soul go back to God. Your body is just housing you right now. Like, this body is made from this fallen earth, and all it wants to do is fulfill the lusts of the flesh, which is, like I've mentioned, text that person, fornication, text that person, gossiping, text that person, backbiting, go drink, lust of flesh, go smoke, go be a whoremonger. All these things is lust of flesh, and this whole thing, Jesus died for us so we have the power through his blood to not give into it, to gain back our authority, to be like, no, I'm not doing that, no. And when the more obedient you are, the more power you have, the more power Jesus gives you, and the more he grows in you, so you can be like, you can look back and be like, man, I used to fall at that sin. This ain't nothing to me now. Satan might come and tempt you, and you're just like, bro, be for real. Like, I'm not that person no more. And that's what it is, If Jesus didn't die for us, we literally would be cooked. Like, we literally would not have no ability to have his power, his strength to overcome all these temptations and all these lusts of the flesh. And Jesus knew that, which is why he did what he did, because he loves us so much, so we would have power to not be bound in chains. You're not free when you don't have control over if you're going to do something or not. You're a slave. That's what it is. Like, I was a slave when I was in the world, and I thought I was free. And I was talking with God the other day, and I was like, isn't it so funny and so stupid how Satan got 6K plus years on us, and our goofy behinds be like, oh nah, I know what I'm doing, I'll be fine, I can live out here, make it myself, I'm smart, I know everything, I know enough, all pride, being like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, I don't need God, I'm smart enough, I can make it out here on my own. And Satan's like, hey, that's my type of person right there, fresh meat, because he's like, man, what a fool, I got 6K years plus of tricks and all type of stuff on you. You think you finna outsmart me? You think you know better? No, he finna sit up here have you looking like a fool. And he does. Which is why you come back to the Lord and you're like, oh my gosh, crawling on your knees. You're out here looking a hot mess, bruised and battered because Satan literally whooped your behind because you thought you knew better. And pride comes before a fall, like God says.